What in heaven's name brought you to Casablanca?
My health. I came to Casablanca for the waters.
The waters? What waters? We're in the desert.
I was misinformed.
He taught me, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
You're tearing me apart!
What?
You say one thing, he says another, and everybody changes back again!
It's the Al Travis Show, and we're always lucky to get a guest in from the Chanhassen Dinner Theater when they're putting on a production. You've heard them as a sponsor on the program. Today we've got Kasono Mwanza, and I hope I got that pronounced correctly with us. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm kind of excited to chat with you, and we'll get to the show part. Again, been a sponsor of the program for a while. I've had some friends go. My wife went with some friends and absolutely loved the performance of Grease. So you guys are doing a great job, but I want to get to know you first before I get into all that. Where are you from, sir, and how do you get to the Chanhassen? Give us a little of your bio as far as, you any good at theater? I was in theater. From 6th grade to 12th grade. I was in theater, people. So yeah, no. I want to know where your chops are.
Well, so I'll say I was born in Lusaka, Zambia, which is South Central Africa,
Okay.
and then moved to Minnesota, which is crazy. I get a lot of looks when I say that.
Yeah.
Because of the weather.
Well, how old were you when you moved?
I was about 10. I was turning 11.
See, you would know the difference between African heat and Minnesota cold. You were
very much so. Yes.
You remember that first winter? You remember that 30 bleak?
My father was a pilot, so we flew to a lot of places. But we'd never been in this cold of weather because we got here around January.
Was it an airline job that got you here? How did you guys end up in Minnesota?
My uncle on my mother's side lives in Minneapolis, so that's how we wanted to be closer to family. But yeah, moved here, went to Marcy Open School here in Minneapolis, and then to South High, and then to University of Minnesota Duluth, which for theater, and studied abroad in the UK in Birmingham for a year. And did some theater work outside of school there as well, and it was sort of the summer of my last year at UMD, and Michael Brindisi came down to UMD, and I was I stayed with Kat Brindisi, which is his daughter. We were roommates and friends, and we sort of connected in that sense. He said, well, why don't you come down to Chan and audition? And I was like, well, I would love to. I'm just getting out of school, and I auditioned and got cast in the show, which I was very, very excited about. And it was the Elvis show.
So let me ask you this. So you had done theater, obviously went to Duluth. What was your first show? What do you remember the first time you said I want to try theater and when you got hooked?
You mean just in general?
In general, yeah. It was the first time you stood on stage, got that applause and said, crap, I want to do this.
It's kind of a funny story. So it was middle school actually, and I was in the bathroom singing, and I thought nobody was in the bathroom. And my social studies teacher happened to be using the bathroom, and he heard me and was like, "Was that you singing?" And I said, "Yes, it was me singing." He was like, "You have to audition for the play tonight." And I was like, wow. I don't even know what that is. I was literally like fresh off the boat. And he was like, I don't even know what that is. And he's like, well, just come sing the song that you sang, and we'll go from there. So I showed up and I auditioned, and it was West Side Story was the first show, that I was a part of. But yeah, that's how it kind of started. And I was like, oh, this is what it's like to be on stage. This is amazing.
Nothing beats all these people's clapping for me. Absolutely.
Like, this is great. Oh, wow.
Okay, so you go from Duluth as Chanhassen, and if this is too personal, say no, thank you. Well, can a guy from Minneapolis make a living doing live theater in Minnesota? Is there enough work to make that happen?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. I mean, I think a number of us do that. And it's certainly, becoming part of Actors Equity is another aspect, the Actors Union.
Yeah.
Then you're talking healthcare, you're talking, what you get paid on a weekly basis, the threshold and the
Yeah.
types of contracts. It's certainly doable. You definitely have to have your P's and Q's together to understand budgeting and all of the other things,
Oh,
as anyone would have to do, as we call them, muggles would have to do. But, it's
ripping off Harry
essentially,
Potter, really?
yeah, well, but it's the same thing, yeah, if you're passionate about what you do, you make it
Yeah.
work, and we
Sure.
are in the line of business to bring people into a different world when they come see a show, and that's
Oh,
our job.
and it is. And again, we'll talk about the program, but with you
Yeah.
in your line of work,
Mm.
it's shocking to me in that there is enough for it. You have a look and a style, right? And when you get
Mm.
into plays,
Mm.
maybe they can gray your beard up a little bit or something.
Yeah.
So are there enough plays in enough theaters that you can work 6 months out of the year? That's what I'm asking. I mean, that's where it comes in, right? You can save your money, don't spend it all this week, but is there enough gigs? Is that what they even call it anymore? Gigs?
Contract. So essentially,
Okay.
yeah. So I think what you're first mentioning is the aspect of a brand, right? That you come in as an actor and you have sort of a brand, a look, or
Yeah.
a type that you are. But Chanhassen is great in the fact that they have probably one of the longest contracts in the Twin Cities,
Okay.
as far as the run of the show.
Okay.
From opening of Grease to when it ends,
Yeah.
it's quite a lengthy run. I mean, the only times that you'll get a contract that long might be if you're performing, as a production vocalist or a dancer on a cruise ship.
Okay.
When
Okay.
your contracts are that long. But in the Twin Cities, yes, I mean, there's always, between the theaters
Hmm.
and working at Chan, there are always opportunities and contracts that open up, that can get you working throughout the year. Now, Chan is
Okay.
the place to be if you want to stay
See,
for a long
I'm,
period of
I'm going to
time,
start calling it Chan now because I feel like I'm with you. I'm with Chan. Chan's my gig.
Yes.
My gig. But
Yeah.
but I guess it also depends on. I mean, you could be running along doing a great job. Everybody loves the work you're doing, and then I don't know. They decide to do the vagina monologues. Well, you're out of that one, and the next one is the one man play on whatever. And I mean, you could be xed out or have a very bad year. No fault of your own. It doesn't work. It's mostly
Well,
women plays.
but that's the beauty of being in the industry is that you always have to have one foot ahead of the other.
Okay.
So that you're always
I like
planning
that.
ahead and sort of looking at what opportunities are out there. And what's great about the Twin Cities, it's a creative hub.
Yeah.
So you might not be doing a musical at that moment, but there might be a play that's open, or you might not be doing
Okay.
a play and you're trying to, there are a few dance concerts happening, or
Yeah.
dance companies that are putting together work that are looking for dancers or looking for X, Y, and
Okay.
Z. But you're always sort of mapping out what your year is going to look like and when auditions are. And most of the theaters in the Twin Cities will have sort of general auditions throughout
Mhm.
there for the series of shows that they're running throughout the year.
Okay.
And so you can kind of map that, ahead of time as well. And theaters do a great job of mapping that out ahead for you, so that when you're
Okay.
like, okay, well, come fall time,
Yeah.
this is the show that I'm going to be doing, and in the spring
Okay.
I'm doing this, so I need to fill up the rest of that time with X, Y, and Z. What is available? Am I
Okay.
able to go to a different market, or I'm able to do X, Y, and Z? One of the markets in the Twin Cities that is headquartered here is Jailbird Entertainment, which deals with cruise ships, for
Okay.
performers. So it's like, do I go on a ship contract and do that as well? It's just different
Okay.
aspects, but that is the life of the artist.
Is
Yeah.
it and I'm loving this. Is it lucrative enough? Do you if I'm asking much, do you have a manager, an agent? Do most folks in your business do that to manage that for you and say, oh, by the way, I heard this audition's coming up, or is it all plastered on the internet somewhere? Y'all go to the same audition site.
In the Twin Cities, it doesn't really make sense to have a manager as far
Okay.
as theater goes. Everything is sort of readily available and
All right.
accessible. It's all here. You're not
Okay.
in New York
Oh, that's
or
what I
a
mean.
bigger
Yeah.
hub city, of that sense where it would make sense. Granted, if you're part of the union, everything is posted on the Actors Equity site.
Okay.
So you can essentially go on, find what audition you want to go to, get put on the list, and then show up at the time that you are allotted. If you're not part of the union, obviously you just have to go and stand and wait in line, until you can put your name on the list. But
right.
yeah, I mean, if you're looking at cruise ship world, then yes, getting an agent in that sense is smart, because you need someone to sort of vouch for you in that sense. Yeah.
Kasono, I appreciate you sharing your story. I want to talk about the play itself, because again, I think 2, 3, I might even have 4 people that I know have gone to this show already, Grease, and have been just stunning reviews. And I want to talk to you about that after the break. Can we do that?
Okay, sounds good. I'm here for it.
Kasono Mwanza with the cast of Grease on the Al Travis Show.
Chanhassen Dinner Theaters brings you its most popular show of all time, Grease. You'll hear all your favorite hits from the Broadway musical and the movie. Join the whole gang at Rydell High. We'll sing, we'll dance, we'll bring you back to high school life in the 50s. Poodle skirts, bobby socks, the soda shop, and drive-in movies. Grease! It'll rock your socks off. Order your tickets today. Visit chanhassendt.com.
You know that car sound that sounds like a cricket playing a banjo? Jay's can fix that. You know when you step on the brakes and your car sounds like a pair of tennis shoes in the dryer? Paul is a guy who specializes in that. And you know that sound that never happens when the mechanic's around? Paul took a whole course on that. If you own a car, you need to know Paul. Paul owns Jay's Auto Shop, 202 North Main Street, Blue Earth, 525-1052, 525-1052.
Are you kidding me?
You know that comment you said to the radio? The thing that we got wrong?
Clearly, Brussels sprouts are the worst vegetable.
Call us and let the world know your thoughts. 855-257-7469. That's 855-ALS-SHOW.
Lucky to have him, Kasono Mwanza with the Chanhassen Dinner Theater. Well, he's his own actor, but he's in the current production of Grease. And I'm not lying when I say I think I've had 4 friends now who have gone to Grease and have sworn by it, that it's absolutely grade A, fun, spectacular, Your thoughts on this? You've been in how many Chanhassen plays have you been in?
I think 13 or this might be my 14th show at Chanhassen Dinner Theaters.
Do you have a favorite? Are you able to say that? I mean, let me set you up this way. I wasn't a big fan of Grease, the show itself, but that was more because I hated John Travolta than anything else. I'm not lying.
Okay.
So having watched it, I got it. Okay, I get it. We have some liners that use some of the lines in it. So for me to travel 2 hours to go watch the show and then come home, it didn't spark me. But all four of them came back and said, no, you just have to. Between the dinner and the experience and the live show, they swear by it. Do you have a favorite? Is this one of them? Can you say that?
Yes, I'll actually be very, very honest with you. This is probably one of my favorites, and I think it's partially because of the role that I play. It's one of those better, so do better roles.
Yeah.
That teen angel sort of telling Frenchie, if you know the movie. So
Yep.
I think this is definitely one of my favorites, and I love that. In comparison to the last time we did Grease, Michael Brindisi really changed this one, and it's a little bit more grounded, and the intention behind it is a bit more grounded, and it's not so crazy kooky animated, but still has that injection of fun and excitement, and the ante is still raised, So this is definitely one of my favorites for sure.
And John Travolta's not in it, so I can get over that in a heartbeat.
Exactly, he's definitely not.
Which is good to know. I just want to put that out there for people.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Have you eaten there? The last time I was at Chanhassen was in the 70s. And it was a dinner theater, and I remember trying to impress a girl back in the day, right? I mean, it's like, okay. So I'm thinking, well, if it looks like that, what are you doing? All four of them remarked how unbelievable it looks inside. And then they said the food was just top notch. It still is that take a girl out, impress them kind of a situation, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, the ambiance is great. The food is great. And as all restaurants do, you go through, different chefs and different et cetera, because it has evolved into what it is today. You could go into Chanhassen Dinner Theaters and get a vegan meal. That is an option. So it's
not for me. You're making fun, right?
Exactly.
For other people.
Right.
For other people that might want.
Right. But, for you meat lovers, yes, there's food for you as well. But definitely for vegetarians and vegans, there's an option for you out there, and it's a great meal, and it's a great ambiance and great show. And the service is, I mean, unbelievable. That all the people at Chanhassen Dinner Theaters that are working in the background and bringing your food and cooking your food and taking your orders and all that, they really work hard and give 5-star service. They really applause to them.
And again, I'm telling you, all four of those people said the exact same thing. And I think it's the famous Chanhassen chicken dinner or whatever.
Oh, the chicken Chan.
The chicken. Yeah, Chan for the rest of us. Everybody just absolutely loved it. Like you say, the service people were fantastic.
Yes.
I ask you inside, a lot of service people, a lot of people in your business start out as service people. Are these folks looking to be discovered? Are they those? Is that why it's such good service?
No one that I've talked to on the service side has told me that they want to be on stage.
I find that hard to believe. Everybody in the biz started out as a waitress somewhere.
They're not ready to have with me.
Okay, fair enough.
Right,
that's fair.
Right. But they're fantastic. They, in their own right, they are truly wonderful.
No, and again, all four people said the same. And then it's back to the show, that the show absolutely got you toe tapping. You were just everybody left in a great mood. You have things in there. This is like I say, it's all updated. It's very nice, is what I'm hearing. They even have selfie place.
Yes.
So it's 2025, right? I mean,
you could come see the show and take a selfie, and then send the selfie to your phone right after you take the photo. So it's pretty great.
It is very up to date and modern, and a lot of fun at this experience. You've done theater elsewhere. How do you compare Chanhassen to other theaters in the experience as a whole?
I'll say this is why Chanhassen is so special, because the run is much longer than most theaters in the than all the theaters in the Twin Cities. You really get to know your castmates. They truly become a family. You see them 8 shows a week,
Yeah.
for however many months, 6 months or 5 months,
Yeah.
you get to be around them for that long. So it's a blessing, to be able to take a role and see it from all the different facets.
Sure.
Because you're running it for that long, that making it fresh for every new audience member
Sure.
that comes in. It's great to be able to say, I never thought of it that's crazy, but it's because you've been sitting in the role for,
Sure.
3-4 months now, and you're
You get
going,
into it.
oh my God, why? It's such a human instinct to do X, Y, and Z. Why did I never think of that?
Kasano,
That's a blessing.
I hate to cut you off, but we are absolutely going to run out of time. We're going to run up against hard break. Kasano Mwanza, I thank you for coming here. ChanHassanDT.com. That's where you go to get the chicken. That is obviously Chanhassen Dinner Theater. ChanHassanDT.com. Thank you for taking the time to be with us this morning. I really do appreciate you, sir. Appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Chanhassen Dinner Theaters brings you its most popular